Hey everybody, it's Kathy Boyle. I'm president of Chapin Hill Advisors. So today I want to talk to you a little bit about pivoting. Pivoting for a purpose. Pivot, recalibrate, repurpose. So right now a lot of people are hit hard. They're frightened. We're on lockdown. We have 1 billion people worldwide locked down. Supply chains, the question, how long will this go on? We're a day, 10 of lockdown, I think we are, at least in New York. No, I think in New York we're only on like 5. But anyway, a lot of people have been self-quarantined, etc. If you're a restaurant, you are dead in the water right now. Most restaurants, especially in metro areas, are not equipped to do takeout alone. It just isn't a viable business. You need those seats in, and most restaurants make most of their volume, a good portion of their volume. The margin is in liquor. So if people are not sitting and dining and drinking liquor, then your margins get compressed. Food cost, especially in the higher end restaurants, is very expensive. It can be 30-40% in some cases, and then you have labor, which is another high component. So I know a lot about the food business. I love food. I worked in restaurants for years in my younger days. I owned 2 restaurants with a former fiance. We ran them from ground up. And I then also am a passionate cook. I'm vegan, and I actually prepare, with the help of sous chefs, all the food for our events. So let's talk about events. Events are part of one of my businesses. They are the mainstay of our Chapin CHA Connections, actually. So it's Chapin Hill Advisors Connections, because I'm a connector, and that's what I do. So I host events. We have 3 live events a year with wine tastings, sponsors, 120 to 150 people attending. We have a huge mailing list. And this is how I stay top of mind with a lot of people. This is how I create connections for other people. This is how I make the gift of you being able to find the right expert for you. Connected with that, we have a Circle of Influence, which is a virtual membership. And so we are finding more demand for that right now, even though we're technically closed. We're quietly letting in people that are referrals from current members. So my Circle of Influence is continuing to grow. We have a connection half hour once a month, and it filled up in about a minute. So we're launching 2 more. So my events are at risk of the first one in May possibly not happening on the timeline we expected. So we are pivoting. We are talking to the host about whether or not June works, or do we move it to September. And then if we move it to September, we'll move October to November. So luckily I have the flexibility in all this, and we are working on that. These are New York City-based events. Then we also have a rooftop soiree. That's a co-hosted event which gets a huge turnout. We typically get 300 people coming to that, and it's great fun. It's outdoors, middle of July. However, we don't know whether or not we're safe for that either yet. So I don't like being in limbo. I hate being in limbo, in fact. So our pivot is, this occurred to me over the weekend. We are launching digital events. We're not the first to do this, of course, but I heard about a technique the other day from one of my network people, and they had 29 people in a meeting. They put them in Zoom rooms, 3 people at a time in a room where you're able to network. So we're combining a panel along with networking. So we will have 30 people. We are going to charge $30 for this. Our Circle of Influence members will get a discount, and I will give 5 free seats. And those will be anonymous. But this way, that's my give back to help people who need the enthusiasm, need the help, but can't afford it just now. We will put panels together based on our sponsors. So the first one is next week. It's going to be called Pivot and Recalibrate. Shed your fear, pivot, and ideas how to pivot and recalibrate, and pick your social channel. So we'll have a social media person talking about what channel you should focus on and how to use this downtime to up your social media IQ. We'll have a business coach talking about examples of how to pivot, how to change your business so you can take advantage of other revenue streams and other verticals. And we'll have a life coach who will talk to you about ways to dampen down the fear and anxiety if that's what you're facing, especially going into the unknown. So that's the first one. We'll have another one on mortgages and financing. We'll have one on networking. We'll have one on social media and visibility, one on LinkedIn. So we're going to be launching these. So that's my way of pivoting. We're still in formation with the idea and figuring out what to do. Our Circle of Influence, we added another connection half hour. So we're adding 2 more in the next 2 weeks so that people have more chances to connect with one another. So that's one business. The other business I have is Kathy Boyle on the Go, which is a speaking business. So I had 2 speaking engagements canceled last week. We had confirmed with one the week before, and they were a go, and then boom, all of a sudden we are out. So events have been canceled nonstop. If speaking was my only business, I would be freaking out. So our method of pivoting there is we are now searching for companies that will hire me to do webinars, and I can get paid for executing webinars for their employees or their clientele, whomever that is. We're also actively looking at 2021 and booking my speaking engagements for 2021. So those are two examples of how I am pivoting. So one of the things you want to do is not get frozen. You want to sit here and think. There's lots of people who are willing to brainstorm. Many of us are still busy. I was talking to a website designer today, and she was talking about how busy she is because she volunteers, she has not-for-profit, she has current clients. And some people think that everybody is time off, and that's not true. A lot of us still are very, very busy and or working, 10 and 12-hour days. So figure out how you can pivot. Do not let this roadblock create the obstacle for the rest of your life. Entrepreneurs, I love entrepreneurs because they are visionary, and they will take obstacles, pick up that big rock and throw it out of the way. So find a way for you to pivot. If you need ideas, I happen to be an idea factory. I love to brainstorm with people. Happy to give you a little bit of time, so reach out to me if you'd like to consider ways that you might be able to pivot. kboyle@chapinhill.com. Thanks so much and have a great day.